and we're recording. Hi there, Allison.
Hi.
Welcome to our video for the COC Coalition of California for the DIR Floortime model.
Cool.
And I've asked you to come today to talk a little bit about your story and your little one and how you have worked with the DIR Floortime model.
So yeah, we didn't find the DIR Floortime model until Ivan was just over 2 years old. We got his diagnosis when he was about 17 months through our insurance company, Kaiser. And then we're just immediately thrown into the world of ABA and everything that goes along with ABA. So he started ABA about 18 months in home, which at first it was great because he was just getting to know his teachers that would come in, and it was play-based and they were just kind of building connections. But then it turned into a lot of, I just heard the same thing over and over again. Ivan, do this. Ivan, do this. Ivan, do this. Whether it was put your hands up, touch your nose. He grabbed onto that pretty quickly. He didn't have verbal skills at the time, but he would do it. And it came to the point where the Ivan, do this would cause a little bit of stress. So, and just hearing that phrase would cause stress.
Yeah.
Another thing about ABA that wasn't great for Ivan initially was the use of timers. Everything was timed every, it'd be 20 seconds sitting in a chair, or, do this for 20 seconds and then you get a mommy break when the timer goes off.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea of timers would stress him out. Anytime he heard a timer, he would get kind of a jolt of anxiety and run in a certain direction. So
Right.
Even in the evening when I'm cooking dinner, my timer would go off and he would think he was in session and run back to his room screaming and crying because that meant break was over. So just that methodical, mechanical, that's how we were teaching him to be, because that's the only therapy we were doing at the time. And I called it quits because I just couldn't handle my kid turning into a machine. So then we found the idea of Floortime through a family member who had tried it with their own child and had great success with it. So we actually just looked in the phone book, found a number. The only service in town was Touchstone Development Center. We got in right away, got assessed, and Ivan just gets to play, and we get to expand on his ideas. And the amount of language, the amount of ideas being formed, the practical play, him just using his own brain to come up with his own ideas, it's changed his life, and it's changed mine. And honestly, every mother with a kid on the spectrum should know about DIR Floortime model, at least have an idea and have it available for them if it works for their child, because ABA does not work for everybody.
Allison, how are you accessing the DIR Floortime model at this time?
We're accessing it through private pay. We chose as a family, we were going to do whatever we could for Ivan, no matter the cost. The 0 to 5 are the most important years for development, so we're going to shove as much into it as we can. When we found Touchstone Development Center, we, decided it was worth it. An hour a week was worth more than 30 hours a week of ABA, because not only is Ivan learning in that hour, I'm learning, and then I'm taking those ideas home and I'm expanding on them. Luckily, I'm a stay-at-home mom, so I can do that. But then not only me, I have my parents learning the DIR model.
Right.
I have my husband learning the DIR model, my mother-in-law. So we all have our ways of working with Ivan in order not to overwhelm him, but also expand on his ideas.
How do you address when Ivan does get dysregulated using the DIR Floortime model?
Basically, if he's dysregulated, we do something that's going to make him feel good. So, for example, right now we have a little ball pit at home. Ball pits aren't out in the world right now because they're yucky. But at home, we have just a set of about 100 little balls. Put them in a laundry basket, put Ivan in there, and then he's instantly relaxed. And then that ball pit is available for him throughout the day, throughout different sessions we have at home, where he can just go in, regulate himself, and pop back out.
Right. And how are his ideas after he reaches regulation?
When he's regulated, I don't even know what's all in there because he's just becoming more verbal, but the amount of ideas we can he starts with and that we can improve on or expand upon, it's almost limitless when he's regulated.
Wonderful.
He doesn't stay regulated for a super long period of time, so it's nice to have those little breaks for him to do something sensory seeking, whether it's, jumping on the crash pad, getting in the ball pit, or just squeezes from mom, that'll regulate him, and then he can actually use his brain and organize his thoughts. And you can actually see it, his brain working when he's regulated versus when things are just so disorganized.
Right. If you were to give one tip to our community, to our country about DIR Floortime, what would you say?
Do your research. Find out what works best for your child, where they are now. It's all about, when you first have a child that's diagnosed, it's about, you think about the future. What is my future going to look like? What is his future going to look like? You need to think about the moment and what works best for your child in that moment. There's skills that need to be learned, obviously, so our kids can function in the world. But the best way for them to learn those skills is to know how to learn. Right. DIR teaches us and him how Ivan learns best. Right. And that way we've been able to take that home. We'll be able to take that into school. We'll be able to take that into life, where basically, if Ivan feels good on the inside, he's going to be able to use that amazing brain. So number one tip, do your research. Find out about DIR Floortime model. Learn about it. Do it at home. Find someone to help you learn it, and just do what's best for your kid. Don't follow the typical protocol of diagnosis, ABA, step by step, because not every kid is the same.
Right.
That model doesn't work for everybody.
Thank you, Alison.